Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby.
Who is that?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Okay, every Friday on the Happy Families Podcast, we talk about the stuff that we're doing right and the stuff that we're doing wrong in I'll Do Better Tomorrow. This podcast episode is really about how we nail it or fail it as parents and how we can be more intentional in our parenting. Kylie, we're getting close to Christmas. Things are slowing down or speeding up, I guess, depends on how you look at it. But certainly from a work point of view, things are slowing down. We are fortunate that we're getting to spend a little bit more time together as family. And in my I'll Do Better Tomorrow, I'm going to go first, by the way. Is that okay?
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit distracted. Do you know, Lily has been playing with my computer.
Right.
And she's put a screensaver on it. And it's just coming up with the most amazing photos.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, you need to close that.
Well, I don't want to. I know I should, but I don't want to.
Trying to have a conversation, trying to record a podcast here.
All of these gorgeous pictures that I haven't seen for years.
Okay, stop indulging for just a sec.
All right,
Thank you.
I'm
I
closing
appreciate
it up.
Okay, so I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And I'm
with you.
My I'll Do Better Tomorrow is actually, I can't believe that you're not even listening to me. I'm literally doing a podcast and you were staring at the computer. My I'll Do Better Tomorrow is, well, I think it's a question. I don't know that it's, I want to be more intentional. I want to get this right. So over the last week or so, I've been really making an effort to do something that I don't like doing much of, and that's play games with the kids. I like to be active. Like if you give me the choice, board games or a walk, board games or a swim, any games at all in the house versus being outside and being active, I'm going outside every single time. I don't want to be inside. I want to be moving my body, sitting at the table and playing a game. Boring for me, right? I don't love it. But I've been working really hard on spending some time inside with the kids, playing some games when we can't be outside for whatever reason. And I want to share a couple of experiences with you.
I'm just going to point out that both experiences are valid and important.
I'm not arguing otherwise. I just don't like board games. I'd rather be outside. It's just my preference. Okay.
Is that because if you don't win, you get upset?
Well, the thing is, I do win, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So, the other day I was playing Monopoly, which is the world's longest game. But I was playing Monopoly,
which is why I do not play it. I don't know if you've noticed, but the games that I choose don't last very long.
So I'm playing Monopoly with Emily, our 9-year-old, and her cousin, who is 9 or 10 as well, Oakley, and I destroyed them. Like I owned, the 2 brown ones just after go. I owned both of those. Plus I owned the 3 blue ones.
So here's the funny thing. When you're not playing, Emily owns the board.
And then I also owned...
Emily owns the board. She completely smashes her brother-in-law. She smashed Ella to the point where they won't even finish the game.
Well, this is what happened. So not only did I own the first row, but I also owned all the orange, plus I owned the red and the yellow as you go from free parking to jail, and I also owned the green ones. She managed to get the 2 blue ones at the very end. We were playing
are the blue ones like Park Road?
Park Lane and Mayfair if you're playing the English version, but we were playing the Australian one, so it's orange and Sydney Harbour. Regardless.
So it's the most expensive ones on the board.
Totally. So she had them, but I just owned everything, and Oakley had never played before, so she had no idea what she was doing.
Kid. Oh my goodness!
But I had hotels everywhere. Like and she wouldn't finish the game. She walked away. She was
Who wouldn't finish the game?
Emily. Oakley was bored after about 20 minutes, but Emily really wanted to play till I started decimating everyone. And I'm playing Monopoly. I'm playing to win. That's my point. And so anyway, there was that. And then a couple of nights later, just the other night actually, I was playing chess, and again I destroyed her. Like she's done chess club and she actually plays chess reasonably well, and I wasn't really concentrating, but I still. I blasted her and she surrendered and she was a bit cranky about it. And then I started playing checkers. She's never played checkers before, so I was teaching her how to play checkers. And once again, she's never played it right, and she's playing against me. I'm nearly 50 years old. I've got a lifetime of playing checkers and chess, and I obliterated her. And I'm just trying to work out, is it wrong that I'm destroying my 9-year-old every time we sit down and play a game? Because I think she's having fun, and I know I'm having fun. Like, I love winning. I don't care who it's against. I'm just
It's a
trying to
pretty
figure it
low
out.
bar if you're winning against your 9-year-old. I'm just saying.
But a win's a win, right? I mean, nobody. People just look at the score.
When you're playing against a 9-year-old?
People just look at the scoreboard. They don't ask who you were against. They don't ask how close it was. It was just, did you win or did you not win? And I'm winning. And I'm trying to work out, like, my dad didn't ever have any mercy on me. So when I finally beat him, I knew that I'd beaten him, whether it was wrestling or whether it was surfing or doing anything outdoors or even anything indoors. If I won, I legitimately won. And it felt so good when I finally beat him. And
So I don't think there, number one, I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think that's the wrong words to be using.
I want to ask you a question before you even finish your answer. When you're playing games with the kids, do you try to beat them? Like if we're playing Cover Your Assets or...
I'm just playing the game. I don't have the same competitive nature as you guys do.
Right.
I often win.
Right.
But I think it's in the way we do it. So I often won't play with you because I just feel like you're rubbing it in my face.
Well, when I say die, I've got you sucked in, I beat you. It doesn't rubbing in your face. It's just how you play the game.
So for me, who's a little bit more sensitive in nature, I struggle with that tactic. I don't have a problem with us playing like for real. And I think that what I noticed with you as you were playing checkers with Emily was you were verbalizing everything you were doing so she could learn alongside with you.
Yeah.
You don't learn by just reading the manual or reading the rules. You actually learn as you process things. And so I was really impressed because you obviously have acknowledged that she was a little bit upset about not winning, but she was also taking in everything you were saying and it improved her game as she went.
Even with chess, she'd go to move something and I'd say, if you do that, just be mindful there's going to be consequences. I wonder if you can see what the consequences are. Or like I'm really verbal and definitely focused on teaching, but sometimes I think just play the game and have fun as well. Anyway, that's my I'll Do Better Tomorrow. Board games, decimating the kids. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And that's
the
what I
only
thought
way
I'd
you
share.
play, my honey.
It's the only way I play.
Yeah.
Play hard or go home.
Yeah.
So what's your I'll Do Better Tomorrow this week?
I had a really beautiful experience earlier in the week. A friend of mine came over for a visit to check in on me and see how we're all going. And we went and spent some time on the beach and were able to just kind of talk about the events of the last few weeks and, you know, kind of just do a bit of a debrief. And she shared some really, really beautiful things with me in relation to your post about Logan's passing.
So just some background for those who missed it. On Facebook, I shared something about my nephew dying. We talked a bit about suicide in that post, and it ended up not that I did it. I mean, in some ways I did it for each because we want to help people, but I did it for each in a way that I don't normally write. So normally everything we put on social media is about reaching lots of people for, I don't know, for happy families reasons. Whereas this one was different. This was let's reach people because this subject matters. Like it was a totally different thing, and we reached like 3 million people. So she was obviously one of the people that were reached.
Well, she doesn't even have social media.
Oh, right.
So she got a phone call from a friend who said, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this has just happened. And she was able to read the post via her friend. And it had such a profound impact on her that she literally walked into her son's room, who she's been really, really struggling with lately.
How old is he?
He is 16.
Right, okay.
Right in the middle of that tricky stage of teenage years. And she just grabbed him to a big bear hug. And he kind of was like, she just said he was like a surfboard. He
What are
was
you doing,
just
Mum?
completely stiff and was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
He was like, all right, Mum. Okay, Mum. All right. Okay. Like, and she just couldn't let go. And so she finally did let go and they were able to sit down and have a conversation. And she actually shared with him the post. He got to read it and he was visibly shaken by the things that he read. And he looked at her and he said, are you worried about me? And here's a kid who's been struggling with his own mental illness challenges, and they were able to, for the very first time, have an open dialogue around what that looks like. And as she sat there, it was probably for her the first time that she was able to take his perspective. And she talked about all of the little things that had driven her crazy, like the 12 coffee mugs that are sitting on his bedside table because he takes a drink into his room and doesn't bring it out.
As soon as you say that, I think of what I shared last week from my sister and her funeral speech about Logan and how she would deal with that every day for the rest of her life if she could have her boy with her again.
Yeah, and so I was able to share that with her as well, and we kind of had a conversation, and she just said as she read that post, she sat there and thought, how would I feel if that was me?
Yeah.
In your sister's place. And she knew that no matter what was going on, that she couldn't think of life without her son. And just as a result of that reframing, she was able to sit in that place and look at life from her son's perspective and recognize that for him, all he sees is his mum who's constantly nagging him, constantly at him because he's not doing things. And they had a conversation a few weeks earlier, and it had got really, really intense. And he just said, "You're so perfect. You think you're so perfect, and I can't win. Like there's nothing that I can do to kind of match where you are in life." And she kind of remembered that and just sat there and verbalized with him again for the first time, verbalized what she perceived was his perception of her as a result of her actions. And at the end of the conversation, he looked at her and he was a little bit bewildered, and he just said, Thanks, Mum, for seeing life from my perspective." Like she got it, and he realized that she got it for the first time. And she just said that one post has literally transformed her home. In that one moment, that recognition that as a parent, if we can sit in a place of compassion for our children instead of that place that so often takes over because we're just so frustrated. Our kids, like if we talk about it from raw truth, they can be so inconvenient to our peace and pleasure in life. They get in the way, they're messy, they're noisy, and all of the other things, and we get so focused on that. But if we can sit in that place of compassion and actually see life from them, I think about all of the struggles that we are experiencing as adults and how hard it is for us to navigate that. And we've had life experience and years of knowledge accumulating to work through that. Our kids don't have that yet. And yet we're asking them to deal with life gracefully in spite of the fact that we're still struggling.
Yeah, we've got our L plates on, let alone them.
Yeah.
This is the best story that you could have shared with me. This is why I wrote the post, because I wanted to help families to connect. And you sharing that is just beautiful. When I wrote Misconnection, Why Your Teenage Daughter Hates You, Expects the World, and Needs to Talk, I asked the girls what they most wanted from their parents. That was one of the questions that I asked. And the overwhelming response was just one word: listen. I just want them to listen. And when I hear the story that you've just shared, so much better than my wiping the board with a Monopoly play kind of thing. Such a good story. When I hear you share that, I just think this is what the podcast is for. This is what the Happy Families website is for. This is what the books are for. It's to bring families together and to help kids and parents communicate in ways that are helpful rather than hurtful, because we just get it wrong so much. I'm so glad you shared that. We really hope that this I'll Do Better Tomorrow has inspired you to have a better weekend and a great week with your family as we get closer to Christmas. We hope that you get to do better tomorrow. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Raw for Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. If you'd like more info about making your family happier, please visit us at happyfamilies.com.au and become a member today. Our brand new membership kicks off next year, and it is going to be all about your family quest for happiness. We think that you will be blown away with the resources, the support, and the way that we can help. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.